Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for December 14th, 2020, with your host, Facemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Now, not on Sundays. No, I'm kidding. No, this was purely because, yeah, I was kind of getting invested on how you were playing that C2 yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I knew how much of a crap show that was.
Yeah. So, before we get into Build Fighters properly, some news came out today from Team Rider that you should all be interested in if you like the Rider stuff. So, December 17th and 18th kind of more or less marks the 1-year anniversary of Team Rider. So, for that 1-year anniversary, they're doing a 2-day event that will culminate once more in the release of an officially subbed movie. So on the 17th, I believe, are all these times Eastern? I believe all these times are Eastern. I think, unless they're all Pacific. Because I know Team Rider is based out of California, so...
I have no idea.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let me check one real quick, because I think Token Nation made sure to put in the eastern parts. Okay, these are the Pacific ones. Let me give you the proper Eastern time zone ones. So, on December 17th, on all of Team Rider's media accounts, so their Twitch, their YouTube, their whatever the fuck it is. I forget what it's called. The other streaming thing that they use that I don't think anyone ever uses.
I can't remember what it's called either.
Yep. Yeah. But on those, at 2 o'clock Eastern, they'll be doing a review of 01 overall, the series. At 4 o'clock, they'll be doing their Figure Arts photo contest that they advertised on their Twitter a few days ago. And they were asking the entries for. And they also kept bugging one person on Twitter to be like, hey, you want to do one? You want to enter in? I think it was just a back and forth thing. And then at 6 o'clock, they're doing a CSM wish list. So I guess they're all going to talk about how much they want CSM, this, that, and the other. I'm pretty sure I know all of their picks by now, because one of them wants a CSM build driver with all the full bottles, but it's packaged in Pandora's box. So that when you open it, you've got Pandora's box, and inside is like packaged in the build driver, but all the full bottles are all slotted in their proper slots.
That actually would be kind of cool.
Yeah. It'd be a nightmare to package. But yeah.
Yeah, true.
But on Friday, December 18th, at 4 o'clock, they're doing a series review of Gaim. And then at 6 o'clock Eastern, they'll be doing a special giveaway, or the announcement of a special giveaway of some kind. Probably something like the Beyond Driver signed by Woz's actor. So probably something along those lines. And on the Toei Tokusatsu channel, they will be debuting Golden Fruits Cup, the Gaim solo film.
Which... don't feel bad if you're sitting there thinking that it'll be completely out of continuity, because guess what? It won't. It does fit into the show, but it also works as a standalone.
Yeah, which is fine. I'll take this one over, like, It's in Generations Forever. Fuck's sakes.
True. But yeah, so... if anyone's worried about, well, I haven't seen Gaim yet, don't. The movie really doesn't have any bearing on the series. as far as a long-term kind of deal. It more has a episode in, episode out kind of concept. And it's barely even that.
It's also a very weird movie in general because why is it soccer? The World Cup was around the time Gundam was around. So Toei wanted to capitalize on that by doing a soccer movie. Like, that's also why the theme song for this movie sounds like it came out of Rio. Because, yeah, the Rio de Janeiro World Cup was pretty massive at the time. So that's why we have soccer movie. That's it. It's dumb. Incredibly dumb. But that's what we get. Of course, I was skimming through Discord notification. I saw someone bring up like, oh yeah, they've had to like cancel some like releases stateside of Rider stuff. Which, as far as I know, the only thing they've had to cancel was like that new like anniversary release of the O's driver with all the core medals from the series, plus Burakawani, because we just slot that in there now. But like, otherwise, they're still releasing everything else that they've said they're going to release. So, I don't know. They're also just like, this is a weird choice. And I'm like, all their choices are weird choices. Let's be honest.
Yes and no. I feel like this one's got to be more of an oddball one, though.
Yeah.
But if it's a sign of what's fixing to come, then that choice is going to be the more questionable one, in my opinion. Because, like we were talking before we started, I have to wonder if this is their, hey, we're going to be doing Gaim, which is a double-edged sword. It is really good and does need to be done, but that's also the problem. It is that good of a show that there's not a whole lot that's actually going to stand up to it, kind of deal. And if that winds up being someone's entry point, then they're going to be sorely disappointed in a lot of the rest of them. Just saying. And that's not saying that a lot of the others are bad. That's just saying that Gaim's that good.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not surprised Gaim is this... Because, again, it keeps getting brought up on all the Team Rider streams. Like, it is incredibly... like, the thing that keeps getting brought up by all of them. All of them. Everyone.
It wouldn't surprise
Everyone connected
me.
to Team Rider will not shut up about Gaim.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do Gaim. It's going to be a case of it's going to be because they want to.
Yeah.
Not because of that's what people want. No, it's because that's what they want.
Yeah. And I completely understand it because Gaim is this massive touchstone for just about everyone in the Rider community. That series is either your first series, your favorite series, what you consider the best series, or if not one of the best series, or has some sort of sentimental value to you in terms of your collection of toys. Whether it was your first one that you dived into the DX line, or your first one you got figures for, or this, that, or the other, or a combination of all of the above. It goes without saying that Gaim has a place in everyone's like history with the franchise at this point, whether they like it or not.
And that's one of those that I honestly feel like, in light of how Saber's been, I would be fine with going ahead and doing a rewatch this early if they did say, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing Gaim.
I mean, you do have all the CSM stuff that's going to be coming out over the next like 3 years, leading up to the 10th anniversary of Gaim, and all of that's getting released stateside.
It's one of those.
If there is
now would be the time.
If there is ever a time and place for a series to be released to coincide with what Team Rider and Bluefin are doing, maybe it should be Gaim. Because I'm pretty sure you're definitely going to get a few more pre-orders out of people if you throw Gaim up on the Tokusatsu networks.
Yeah.
Network of streaming services.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone connects the dots and goes, maybe we should, instead of just going, you know what we should release? We should release Skyrider.
I mean, ideally, I kind of would have liked the whole we're going to rotate, do a Showa Heisei and then Neo Heisei kind of deal until we get everything caught up.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea. And if that was the mentality, then I would think double would be. But then again, you also kind of can't really do any of the movies associated. Because you gotta kind of have some backstory to other series.
Okay, you can do everything but the crossover movies. So
you can't do A to Z, really.
Look, Edgy just has an early bird cameo. That's fine.
No. I mean, because that kind of actually ties into the story, too.
Well, true. I meant if you did the series, you can also do A to Z, and you can do the 2 Returns movies.
Yeah, but I have to think they're going to... If what I think is right, and they're doing the Gaim movie and then doing the series, that would be the mentality there. Movie, then series. And you kind of can't do it that way for double.
Fair.
You kind of have to do it the opposite way.
Yeah. Even though I keep being like, give us Megamax, and I'm just like, I know I'm throwing people in on the deep end on that one for Megamax, but I'm like, I want Megamax officially released. I will put it this way. When Megamax is officially released, I will literally go out and get every single Shoto X release of all of the original 7 riders with their bikes. I will track every single one of those releases down and get them.
So that'll be a little ways out.
Good, because Rider Man doesn't come out till next year. And he's the last one.
Because it clearly is being obvious that we're not going that way right yet.
Yeah. Like, that's fine. Rider Man doesn't come out till, like, March with X8 for Shoto X. So I'm like, good. I'd have to wait on Rider Man. But everyone else is out at this point.
But yeah. It's one of those, I would have liked that kind of a rotation, but I can understand too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad that they didn't do the thing we were hoping for and do the simulcast with Saber.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad too. I actually still haven't watched this week's episode. It got released like last night before I started streaming, like a little bit before I started streaming, but I still haven't watched it because I'm like, it is a nothing episode with like 12 million action scenes. I'm not like going out of my way to watch this until I think Frozen Stratos does his like watch along, and then I watch it.
It's one of those that, yeah. Knowing it was the Ghost Rider, I was going to give it a shot. Because, you know, learn from past mistakes. 01's the prime example of that.
Yeah.
Except for, I'm starting to think that 01 was the exception and not the rule. To
be fair, Ghost Rider hasn't written the majority of the episodes released so far of Saber.
Again.
And like that wouldn't be a problem if it didn't feel like there's stuff missing and stuff's not being communicated. So
again,
yeah.
I swear, if this writer gets a third writer show, then I'm not even going to attempt it. Because that's getting ridiculous.
I also love how I know Frozen Strauss was like, well, it is the Ghost Rider, but you can't judge the show by its writer. And 11 episodes in, he's just like, I'm not liking this show. And I just was like, who told you to be cautious about this show to start with? Who had reservations to start with about this show? And the show then proved to be right.
Yeah. And it was one of those, I was fine with giving it the, okay, I'm going to go into this not thinking that, but then once, I think I only made it to like the second or third episode. And at that point, I was getting super Ghost vibes, and I'm like, yeah. We're hitting the same problems.
Yeah.
Someone didn't learn.
It's almost like writers are pretty consistent unless they have a long break from something.
Or unless they're actually willing to learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Because X-Aid's problem was they didn't have enough content. Zero One's was they had too much to not be able to handle getting cut some episodes.
Yeah. Granted, I say that exact thing, and then I'm like, Inoue's kind of a exception to that because his episodes of Geo were really bad.
Fair. But I mean, you can't make a diamond out of crap.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I also do feel like, because I keep seeing it, like, answered back of people being like, well, why isn't Ryder promoted more? And I'm just like, what can they do at this point? All they can really do is release material, and that's just on Toei's end at that point, just being like, all right, we'll let you do this. Like, at the end of the day, Toei has to make the call to, like, do stuff. And, like, Team Rider has done all they can. Like, they are handicapped by Toei and Bandai being like, but we don't wanna. Or, we don't want to do this. But, like, we need higher sales targets or whatever.
I think the bigger problem is we're going so long between information.
Yeah.
Even if they could do, like, teases of stuff that's in the work. I mean, look, case in point, Disney is king for that.
Yeah.
They will throw a random 3-second teaser out for something that might have, like, one screenshot in the title, and that's enough to get people interested, wanting more. And I feel like they need to maybe not go to that extreme, but at least be a little more active and be like, hey, we do have, stuff in the works. We just can't exactly say what.
Yeah. It also doesn't help that I know for a fact several members of Team Rider also do stuff for other things that Bluefin releases, like Gundam and all that. So they have to do all that stuff while also trying to do the Rider stuff. And at some point, things have to take priority.
It sounds like, though, they need someone that's just, like, focusing PR side of things.
Yeah.
To kind of alleviate some of that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it don't even have to be a consistent, okay, every week we have to have an update of X, Y, and Z. But just kind of throw little nods in at various different points.
Yeah.
Maybe turn it into more of a networked based kind of thing. Where the writer stuff, you know, you might get a little nod in one of their other works or something to it.
Yeah.
Just something to kind of force people to want to watch them a little closer to get information.
Just quietly sneak in just a little thing in the background when they're doing the Gundam stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait a minute. Because then it's cross promotion.
Yeah, just something that'll be subtle and not just right in everyone's face, but at the same time it'll get people thinking like, wait, what are they doing? Because I have to think that there is some crossover between a lot of the communities they deal with. And
I'm sure.
And it would be enough that word would get around. But it's one of those stuff like that, because we were even talking before about how they've just been so quiet on certain things, and it's like, oh, okay. We're just walking away from this for right now and maybe coming back at a later point.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I do understand that at the same time their hands are tied. They can't just, like when they were first in talks about doing the Guy movie, they couldn't just be like, oh yeah, we're working on this. Because it could have fell through. But at the same time, they could maybe hint that they're doing something writer related, maybe early on, and then when it started seeming like it was going to be a go, maybe start hinting as to what writer thing. To kind of keep it relevant, at least.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know how else they would go about promoting it, because, I mean, at the end of the day, promotion is word of mouth.
Yeah. And that's all this franchise is operated on in the States. So it's just like, yeah, like what do you want us to do? Like we do the thing, we tell people about it, like we just need stuff to buy and stuff to watch. As long as you tell us when to expect to buy stuff and watch stuff, like it's fine. Although I'm still confused by that Agito release. I don't understand that Agito release at all. It also doesn't help that the quality on it is kind of garbage compared to what Shout Factory did. So I'm just like, how the fuck does this have anything to do with anything that like is going on with Shout Factory at all? Like, where the fuck did this come from? What's happening?
Unless it was just another attempt to see if who else would be willing to do stuff like that.
Can we not get that other group, please? Because they are not helping. I'm sorry, but Hanshin is not helping.
Seriously?
Yes. Yes, literally in the subs for Agito, Hanshin is a translation. It is one of many errors.
I just don't even on that one. I don't even.
Neither does anyone else. That's why I got mean to hell and back. Because how do you mess that up? How?
I would be willing to go out on a limb and say that is probably the only subgroup that has ever screwed that up.
And bear in mind, this is the official sub for Agito. That you have to pay a service to actually watch. It's not like the Tokusatsu stuff and it's like free. No, you need a subscription for the Tokyo HD to actually watch this.
That's what the test was. See if people would pay for it.
People will pay for it if you give them DVDs. Just go ask Mill Creek.
Yeah, but DVDs are old-fashioned. Everyone's streaming now.
Fair. But in reality, what streaming service would actually want Rider? Realistically.
Unless it was more of a bigger picture concept.
Yeah.
Like maybe just seeing if there was an interest in the genre as a whole.
I mean, Tokyo HD has stuff like Rider, so... Again, confusion. I don't understand.
Because that's the only thing I can think of is if they thought, well, one of those concepts where someone thought, okay, well, I wonder if people will pay a subscription service to watch it.
They would?
Apparently people have, otherwise Hanshin wouldn't have made it around.
Like, they probably would, A, if the quality wasn't garbage, and B, if we already didn't have 2 releases that were free. Well, 3 releases that were free.
Fair.
If you started with subscription service, nobody would have a qualm with it, but since you are not, people might have a qualm with it. Plus, that's also like a limitation built in, so you might need to like realize that not everyone is going to either want to or be able to subscribe to a service just for this one thing if there's not other stuff surrounding it.
That's why I kind of wonder if that might have just been a test there.
Yeah. Like, if this is on Netflix, no one's got to worry because most people have Netflix. But if it's on some off, like, way out there subscription service that, like, 20 people have, you're not getting anything more than you already have. You're not making new fans at that point.
The only thing that I could think of that could work for something like that, but it would have to be someone that had enough of the series together concept. Like where we're at with Tokusatsu now. They're not to that point yet. Mm-hmm. But if there was enough to do something similar to like how Rooster Teeth did, where you've got the subscription service to get new stuff early and to remove ads, but after so long anyone's got access to it, I could see that working better.
Yeah.
Because then you've got the free side of it for people that don't care to wait and or don't really know if they're going to like it. But then you got the paid for part of it for the people that like it and, you know, don't want all the annoyances.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only kind of subscription anything that I could think would work. But I don't think they're at that point yet either.
Yeah. Of course, I have other questions with Shout Factory because, like, supposedly Hasbro is parting ways with Toei over Power Rangers, and like Power Rangers is going to become its own thing separate from Super Sentai after Dino Fury, supposedly. Like, I just want to wait and see what it is, like, regardless of how valid the rumors are at this point, because I'm like, what the fuck is this if we don't have this? But like, that brings up the question of like, can Shout Factory do the rest of the Sentai DVDs? Like,
at that point, probably.
Like, can they? Is there even a market for it then if you're not like adapting the series going forward? Like, if we're dropping Sentai from Power Rangers and all together? Does that mean we like clean reboot, scrub everything away? Like we can't do anything anymore? Like the fuck does this deal entail?
Yeah, that is a question there, but I would think it would probably... Okay, I take back what I said. I think what would wind up happening is they probably couldn't cut ties completely anyhow. Because anything that had shared content, they would still have access to. But I would think going forward, they would be able to do stuff like that.
So, like, pretty much no adaptation of Lupat, no adaptation of Zoo Ranger, or not Zoo Ranger, Zooger, or Key Ranger, or Kira Major, or Tokyuger. Which makes me sad because I would like Lightning Collection Lupin Rangers. As whatever the Power Rangers equivalent is, but meh.
Like, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I've got questions about, okay, of like what's going on with Shout Factory in terms of like what they're able to work on, what are they doing? And then like Team Writer is just like, okay, what are you actively working on? Like besides securing CSM stuff, like what are you securing outside of CSM? Because you seem like you've got CSM in Figure Arts kind of down pat, and I get those are the main things. But like, can you get us some premium Soto, please? Please, that's all I ask. Can you get the rest of the premium Bandai stuff? Because like, they're bringing over the Shoto Digimon stuff. That's all premium Bandai. To the point of you can get like even the special box that it all comes in. So it just again boils down to silence sucks. I would like you all to talk about stuff, or at the least do stuff, and not be silent for weeks on end, and then all of a sudden we get this announcement after like 2 months of nothing.
True. I mean, it gets back to like I was saying, they need to start teasing. They don't have to full out say, yes, this is what we're doing, but at least start teasing. Because that would be enough. Yeah.
It doesn't help that I'm a bit cynical, where I'm like, we're working on stuff, and I'm like, I'm sure you are. You don't have to tell me you are doing your job. You can be more specific, please. Otherwise, you telling me you are doing your job is not helping. I'm sure you're doing your job. I would be concerned if you're not doing your job, because I would be concerned that you might be going out of business.
Yeah.
But just stating you're doing your job is just okay. You want to talk about specifics about that? Do you want to tease us something? Be like, hey, we got this fancy new item coming in like a couple months or so. Granted, half of this might just be COVID related. Because like this 1 year anniversary, half of this 1 year anniversary has been COVID entangled, technically.
I mean, do I rule that out? No. But do I also feel like that excuses this? No.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be part of the problem. By all means, that could be part of the problem. Except at the same time, you can't tease stuff you're in talks about, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully next year is more productive. Is more? Just more?
Just more.
Just more. So we're supposed to talk about Buildfire's Try tonight.
Oh, we are?
Yes. After we were talking about anything but Buildfire's Try for like 40 minutes.
Yep. Well, not quite.
So, yeah.
About
so
30.
It's 5 through... So it's 5 through 8 this week. This is 90% of the tournament to start the series. And I guess almost all of the first arc of the series, if you want to like subdivide the show into different arcs. Because you kind of can, because like these first 9 episodes are like the first tournament. Then like 10 through, I don't remember the number, is kind of the middle interlude, flipping the status quo. And then the last part of the show from, I forget again the episode, I think it's like 15 or something, to the end of the series is the second tournament. So we're almost through the first part of the series. But how'd you feel about these episodes going in?
I mean, about the same, to be fair. Because, I mean, I've kind of just been glad to be doing it. A lot better than Ichigo. Just gonna say it.
Yeah, I haven't finished the Essential Watch List yet. I also haven't touched the series at all. But I haven't done a lot of things in the last couple of weeks or so, meh. But yeah, it's also nice to be watching this show. Unfortunately, I'm in a bad habit of watching clips from later episodes. So I'm just like, oh yeah, here's this fight out of context-ish. Even though I remember the context for it. Although there is one part in one of these episodes that I completely forgot about or didn't realize was a thing. And I was like, oh. I also think I forgot to note it down because I think I might have accidentally skipped the scene. So I think it was an end of episode scene. But simply put, you know how we had Yuki as Meijin with his fucking drama shades?
Yes.
What if there was 2 of them now?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have two of them with drama shades, and I'm just like, God, there doesn't need to be 2 of you. If there was 3 of you, fine. That's the thing of the series. But there being 2 of you, I'm just like, no, I don't need 2 of you being dramatic. One of you is enough as is. Especially with what he does later. I'm just like, God damn it, Yuki, tone it down. Does Sei need to come back and like get you to rein it in some?
Wouldn't work.
I know. But somebody needs to come back and just be like, sir, please turn the knob down some. Please. Please stop. You're a little too into the gimmick. Anywho, we can kick off the recaps with episode 5, Dream and Challenge in Your Heart. So we got Sekai. We opened on Sekai training and realizing, okay, Build Birding is a figure that has limitation in his joints. What if I learn how to fight like it so I can punch better? And then him and Mirai go to the pool at the school so he can learn how to fight in 0G, because being in water is like being in 0 gravity, right?
That's how that works, right?
Also, why did he put Bill burning underwater? I'm pretty sure that's a bad thing.
It's fine. I mean,
it's waterproof, I guess.
I'm sure it goes underwater when they're in an ocean battlefield, right? That's how that works?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't actually know on that one, actually.
I don't know how the Plavsky particles work for all of the really fancy stuff. I also don't know how the fuck all of Sekai's moves translate to how they do in the show, and like in actually how it works in the fights. I'm just like, yeah, he does special kung fu moves because he can. Because I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not going to try to figure out the mechanics. I'm not trying to figure out the mechanics of how this actually fucking works. It's like every other TV show that's like this. The magic shit happens because if it didn't, the show would be boring. Mm-hmm. So the magic shit happens to make it interesting. And I'm like, okay, cool. It reminds me of like Beyblade. Beyblades do not work like that. Top spins do not work like that. But if it didn't, the show wouldn't be interesting. And those are probably words no one should ever hear, but oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah. But we cut over the Fumina and Yuma real quick, as they are still doing prep work for the tournament. Fumina's building her new Gundam that will be introduced here in a bit. Yuma's just continuing to refine his. Him and Sekai won't really get new Gundams until the second half of the series. Fumina is the only one with a new one for now. But we check in with Minato real quick, as he's dropping off his lizard creation to the Miyazato team. Their leader, Sudo, is getting his new Gundam for the tournament. Spoilers, they're the team that Bill Fighters is fighting at the end of the series, or at the end of this part. If you couldn't tell, as it being the only other important team that we're going to follow for the tournament. That isn't one person, because Yonko's team is just her, really, and her two subordinates. But Minato gets asked why he isn't entering, and he's just like, I don't wanna. Until he finds out that Yuma's entering, and now he's mad about it, because Yuma isn't focused on him, because Minato has an incredibly large ego. And I also have to wonder, how the fuck are you from the same school as Mao? Mao is far more chill than you, sir. Bear in mind, folks, Minato's from the same school as Mao. Anywho, we check in with Yuma as he drops by the clubhouse, because he wants to fight Raul. And we see just a small bit of the fight, and simply put, Raul gets demolished by Yuma, which sets a precedent for what Yuma's done to his Lightning Gundam. But Fumina gets done with her garbage duty and checks in with Sekai, and the two of them catch up. And we see that Fumina started doing Gunpla stuff because there was a female fighter she really admired, and pretty much she wants to be as strong as her and fight her, because that's just how the series goes. Spoilers. This person is the Lady Meijin that we'll see later in series. Well, in these episodes, but only in the background with Yuki. She's more or less just here to be a mentor to Fumina, and that's kind of it. I think she only gets like one major fight with Fumina. Otherwise, she's kind of just in the background. Same with Yuki, really. Yuki only gets, like, I think one major fight in the series, maybe two. But otherwise, he's in the background, being him from later in the series. So if you didn't like drama Yuki, too bad. That's Yuki's entire character the rest of the series, is being Mr. Dramatic. But the two of them see Yuma leave, and then they see the results of Raul's fight with Yuma, and Raul's just like, well, he made me drop my shields. He's on the short list of probably mostly people from the last series that made me drop my shield. I assume.
Yeah, I would have to assume too.
Yeah. But with this, everyone is set, and then the next day, 2/3 of them meet outside the arena, except for Sekai, because he didn't know where to go. But Galco showed him where, and this makes Fumina jealous, because, spoilers, the show is shipping Fumina and Sekai. Slowly. Very slowly. I don't think they actually even get together in series or in Trialon Wars. So, I guess they're just... Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But after this, we see the brackets get set, and we see that Tri-Fighters is up against Gaia Dragon from Miyazano High. And we get a space battlefield, and Fumina debuts her winning Gundam, which is currently in its ship mode, because both her and Yuma have Transformers. This was apparently a regular thing in Gundam.
That doesn't surprise me.
Neither does me, but I'm just like, oh, okay. But it's technically later in the episode, but Miyato does note that Sekai's Gundam is Sei's. And for whatever reason, he says it's the one that Sei used in the 11th World Championship, which I think is wrong, according to GM's counterattack. Well, I assume this is if you take Minato at face value, and it's literally the one Sei used in the 11th World Championships, because technically not. I think he had a different Gundam that just looked like this one in GM's counterattack. Because I think he just built this one and put it in the trophy according to that movie. He had a completely different Gundam. Like, two completely different Gundams than this one. So I don't know if we're supposed to take Minato at face value or not. Anywho, back into the fight, Yuma shows off his Gundam that turns into a plane, and he pretty much demolishes one of the team members. Fumina then shows off that hers is a Transformer and turns into one of those SD Gundams from one of the last episodes. So hers is a little tiny mini one that also demolishes a guy. So that just leaves Sekai to clean up, because that's just how their fights go, kind of. When they aren't really fighting, it's more just they're facing jobbers, is that one of them takes out one, another one takes out another one, and then Sekai cleans up the third guy. But Sekai reveals that he figured out a way to make temporary platforms for himself to kick off of, so that way he can punch things like he normally does. How he does this, I don't know, but he can.
By the way, at least according to the wiki, they're taking that as that's actually what happened. Was he used that in the 11th World Tournament?
Okay, that's weird because he built two different ones that weren't build burning at the exact same time in that movie.
Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Because, as a reminder, folks, that Gundam is built specifically for Reggie. That's not for Sei to use. That's for Reggie to use. So I don't know why Sei would be using it in the World Championships and not one of the other two he built. One of which was for himself.
But yeah. At least according to the wiki, they're rolling with that, so...
Okay.
I don't understand that one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, in the fight, Sekai ends it by doing his Ryusei Rasengan through the Gundam and through this broken bit of a satellite, breaking the satellite in half. Remember, folks, this is not the peak of what Sekai does in this series. This is not even remotely close to the most ridiculous thing he'll do in this series in the manner of punching someone. But Tri-Fighters wins. They're off to the next round. The boys argue, but Fumina's just happy to be past round one for once. So, yay! Afterwards, Minato confronts Yuma about being a fighter again, but we end off before we get too far. Which takes us to episode 6, Ruler of the Battlefield. The team is celebrating that night with Mirai as they're ready to take on their next opponent. Fumina hints that there's more to winning, which we'll see actually in this episode, but that's up the sleeve for now. But Yuma is busy pondering Minato's confrontation because he has to deal with this asshole all season. So he's stuck with him for life, unfortunately. But the next day, we get a breakdown of the rules, which is more or less, it's 3v3 fights. You can fly support mechs as a solo pilot, but if you pilot the big shit, all three of you have to pilot it as a balance. Also, if your stuff transforms and splits apart, you have to control all the parts individually. I guess unless the parts aren't meant to be controlled individually, as we'll get to later, but I guess it's that thing about being a support craft. Also, if we hit overtime, it becomes a 1v1 between chosen opponents. That won't be a thing until the second tournament. And I also don't think it will be a thing until the literal last match of the tournament. So keep that one in the back pocket for now. But Fumina wanted to play this video with all the rules so that Sekai would understand them. But Sekai being Sekai, he fell asleep during the entire process. Which, to be fair, what more does he need to understand than punch thing, we win?
True.
It's not like he's in a position where he has to pilot something complicated. He pilots the simplest thing in the world, which is thing that punches things. Anyway, Mirai and Rao come back with lunch. And Rao, unfortunately, also brings bad news. Their opponent for the second round is Seirin Tech College, who are more or less a bunch of engineers that do a lot of math and spreadsheets and stuff. And they also specialize their Gundams for their opponents per round, because you can also swap out your Gundams as necessary. You just can't swap them mid-match. So they're in for a rough time. But Seirin more or less just goes, Yuma's the only one with anything noteworthy to him. We fuck him up, they're done. Because they completely underestimate Sekai and his ability to punch people. Which I just have to go, how? Do you not see every time he's punched someone? I'm pretty sure you need to take him seriously. I'm fairly certain you probably need to take him seriously. But okay, sure. Next day, we follow up with Yuma as Minato drops by the... I don't even know what the name of the diner is, but he drops by more or less to pester Yuma to be like, I want you to fight me in a building contest. That's really important. You're my rival. You're not allowed to be a rival to anyone else. Meh. I kind of want to punch Minato. He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he kind of is.
He kind of sucks. Because all he cares about is Yuma fighting him and beating Yuma. And also hitting on Fumina for, like, no reason. But yeah, Yuma more or less no-sells him and is just like, whatever. I'm busy. I'm doing more important things. But after Minato leaves, Fumina calls him for a midnight practice session with the two of them in Sekai, where in a fight with a giant Gundam, she shows off the ace in the hole with the winning Gundam. And they're gonna need that for the next fight. So we cut to the next day, and we just blow through some more round 2 matches that aren't important, including Galko's, where she smashes some guy with her shields according symbol style, and then dedicates the match to Sekai, who's just like, please no. Please stop. I love how much Sekai just no-sells Galko at every turn of just like, please stop talking to me. Please stop. No, we are not compatible.
At all. Even though she thinks otherwise.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Sekai gets 3 different people interested in him. In this case, it's Fumina, Gyanko, and a third person to be introduced later. I don't know why. He just does. Apparently, it's the stupid part of him that attracts people.
Well, that and he answers everything with punch.
Yep. But this leads us to our fight with Tri-Fighters versus SRSC, which is the team name for Siren. So our fight's in a forest. The two teams are fairly separated. Tri-Fighters has to pretty much walk towards their opponents, who proceed to set up a radar jammer in a communications disruptor area to keep them from communicating and to keep them on the back foot. At which point, they pretty much ambush everyone individually, starting with Sekai, who gets baited out in the open and then immediately hammered with missiles, which leads to Fumina getting pulled into that trap to get ambushed, with Yuma being the only one to go, maybe I should stay in cover. Maybe I should stay put.
You know, being the only smart one.
Yes. Unfortunately, he has taken the brain cell for this match.
Yep.
And Sekai's left disabled because he's getting hit by a taser, and Fumina's left running from her opponent. But at this point, Fumina's like, well, we gotta turn this around. Time to deploy the ace in the hole. And as she's about to get shot, she splits the winning Gundam apart, passing off the winning knuckle to Sekai, which is just a big giant fist for him to punch better with. But she then like punches the ground and like destroys all the disruptors and jammers and stuff. Yuma manages to get one of the winning launchers and decimates one of the guys when he thinks he's out of range. And I just have to look at him. He's like, I'm out of range. And I'm like, sir, this is a giant laser gun. The only way you're out of range is when he literally can't see you and you're behind a lot of stuff. That is not how that works. So yeah, he gets blown up. Fumita pretty much demolishes the guys that's been chasing her, leaving Sekai to clean up. One big old ship in Suki. Tri-Fighters win. And they move on to the next round. Which the coach of Siren is just like, what the fuck? How did we lose? And then Rao, who by the way was late to this match, because that's a running thing with him, the guy recognizes is like, fuck. We really lost. Which I have to correct him and go, Rao really hasn't done a lot for this team so far.
Yeah,
it's kind of
so
all
far.
been on them. So no. Honestly, Rao's done less in this series so far than he did in Build Fighters.
Yeah.
But then Miyamoto recognizes that Fumito's mech is kind of the glue holding them together, which, as we have put it, she is the one with the brain cell, and she has to pass it around the team. But as the episode ends, the Miyazato team ends up getting a new member, which we'll check back with them later. So that's our first two episodes. How'd you feel about this pair?
I honestly kind of feel like this was a good intro to the tournament.
Yeah. I would say it feels weird to have a tournament where we're following nobody, but that kind of was the first tournament in Build Fighters.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Like, Sei and Reggie didn't really have a real match until their final match.
And that's
okay, they're first in their final match.
Yeah, and that's what kind of led everything into fruition for the last part of the show.
Yeah. Like, all of our noteworthy teams were all of our noteworthy people were all in the second half of the series, which is pretty much the same case here. We're just setting up people to show up later for the second tournament. Because, spoilers, Benato's in the second tournament with a team. He has an incredibly dumb Gundam. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's dumb as shit. And I must applaud him for going all in on it. Because he goes all in. But yeah, any other thoughts before we hit the second half?
No.
Alright, we pick up with episode 7, Straight Assembly Shimon. So, we've got Tri-Fighters up against Angelfish, which are this aquatic theme team that kept getting teased and are like, we're really good in the water. We are best in water. And they kept slyly going like, what if they don't get a battlefield that's water? Aren't they fucked? As it turns out,
Yes. Yes, they are.
Because they end up getting dropped in the Arctic, which, by the way, still has water area, but they are incredibly stupid. Because when they land, they're like, we have to get in the water. Oh no, it's all frozen. What do we do? And then over the horizon, you see Tri-Fighters slowly walk towards them. And then they all go, fuck, as they explode. Which I don't know if they literally self-destructed or if just Tri-Fighters blew them up and they were done.
I'm pretty sure the dialogue kind of suggested they kind of self-exploded.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was a literal case or not.
Yeah, that's that's for debate. I like the thought of, yeah, they just said, no, we're going to self-destruct. we can't do this.
We have no water. We're done. Goodbye. So, chopped out, clean as a whistle. Tri-Fighters are left disappointed because, more or less, we didn't get to fight anything, really. We just got to buy. We're all sad. But Rao congratulates them anyway, since, hey, you beat some dumbass jobbers. It happens. Honestly, even if they were if they had a water battlefield, you probably would have been fine. We've already proven that Sekai knows how to fight on not land, so I'm pretty sure he just would have punched and won. But they ended up checking out the next match with a team that just have regular Gunplas with no customization, no anything special. Literally pulled the sprues out of the box and just built the thing. Which means they're garbage, supposedly.
Yes,
but since they're in round 3, they must have something, right? As it turns out, they pretty much have their own version of Sekai, which is the leader of the team, who knows the art of punch. And I love that Sekai immediately recognizes, like, he knows punch. I must fight him. Let me fight man who knows punch. So their main fighter is a boxer by trade. And he pretty much demolishes the entire team solo because his teammates are immediately destroyed. His teammates are only good at being jobbers and being target practice. So this team wins, they move on, and they'll be facing Tri-Fighters next. Which leads to the two teammates, not the leader. I don't remember the teammates' names. The leader's name is Shimon, as the episode title denotes. They pretty much beg Tri-Fighters to let them win the next round because Shimon's brother is in the hospital sick, and they're trying to win the tournament for him. Now, I would like to note that in normal television standards, we do not say what the brother is sick with or what the entire circumstances of the brother's condition is. Only that it is apparently time sensitive, and that's the short and long of it. I love when they're non-specific like this.
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah, it's the plot virus that is time sensitive. I assume. I don't know. The kid seems perfectly fine in every scene we see him in.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's sick with.
He's sick with the thing.
Yeah.
That's about all that can be said out of that.
Yeah. But hearing this, and I do love that initially it seems like they're going to cause problems, and Sekai immediately takes a stance before they beg. And I'm just like, I want to see someone try, because I want to see Sekai actually whip their ass. Because we clearly established that he knows the martial arts. I want to see him legitimately whip somebody's ass that wants to try to fight him.
I'm sure we'll probably see it at some point.
I don't think we do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think we do.
Huh.
At least I don't remember. Anyway, this whole situation gives Tri-Fighters a bit of a pause, because it's like, well, we can air in next year and the year after that, but this is their one chance. So should we? And Phobia is considering this, and Yuma's no, but he's also I don't know. And Sekai's the only one who's not said a word about this. He is just quietly contemplating this and actually leaves the two of them later and is kind of just roaming town as everyone else kind of separates and thinks about it. And Mirai actually spots all of them on where they're sitting and talking about this. And Ral, who overheard all of this, explains it to her. Like, the whole situation. At which point she asks, like, can you give them advice about this? And he's just like, honestly, something like this, they gotta figure out on their own. Like, they have to make the choice in the fight.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, this is their fight. So, and we cut between all three of them, like, thinking about this. So, it is a dilemma for Team Tri-Fighters. So we go to the next day. Sekai actually drops by Shimon's brother's like hospital room and shows him off build burning. At which point he straight up declares, "We're gonna fight. I'm gonna win. So see you tomorrow." And Shimon's like, "Cool. I want to fight. I want to punch. Let's punch." Which, after we see all this, we actually see that Fumina was outside listening to this with flowers because I guess she was gonna see if she could actually accept fighting them on equal terms and not throwing the match. But she's kind of not ready for it because she asked Sekai, like, why'd you do that? And he's like, I want to see if I could do it. And he did, because we'll get to why Sekai does later. He explains why, and it pretty much makes perfect sense. And it's a very good reason. But I guess Sekai also told him, like, hey, your teammates told us to throw the match. You should probably go talk to them about that. Because Simo proceeds to chew his team out for trying to pull that stunt. And then it's like, yo, believe in me. Believe in the team. Believe that we can win this on our own. That we don't need to, like, that we don't need the sympathy vote or the sympathy win to make it. Like, we can legitimately win this. So that takes us to the fight itself with Tri-Fighters versus Faith, which is Shimon's team name. So the six of them meet front and center. Fumina and Yuma are up against the two goons. Sekai and Shimon are 1v1 more or less. Tri-Fighters clearly has the advantage in firepower and skill, but Shimon's team decides, well, if we can't beat them, we'll ring them out. So the two of them individually shove both Yuma and Fumina out of the ring, throwing the four of them out of the match. And both Yuma and Fumina have the opportunity to stop and take out their opponents and ensure that they don't ring out, but both of them hesitate, costing them the chance and pretty much leaving it in Sekai's hands. So 1v1, it is Sekai versus Shimon, and they proceed to punch the shit out of each other. Unfortunately, their first major class, Sekai gets the worst of it, getting a lot of damage to his head. But the second one ends up being a lot more even, as they both take out each other's right arms. At which point, they proceed to just trade blows, taking chunks out of each other, until Shimon goes for another one of his big, powered-up punches that he used earlier. Only for Sekai to go, by the way, I know wrestling, counters him, throws him into an armbar. It pretty much goes, give me your arm. So Sekai's got this armbar locked in, but Shimon doesn't want to give up. So he wills what's left of his right arm into motion to try to take out Burning's head. So it is now a game of chicken between the two to see who will destroy whose part first. Unfortunately for Shimon, Sekai comes out for the better because he does take that arm and keeps his head. At which point he does get airborne, does a Giri to take out one of Shimon's legs, then does a V-trigger, which is just a knee to the head, to take out Shimon's Destiny Gundam, giving Tri-Fighters the win. So Shimon returns to his brother afterwards, tells his little brother, hey, we lost. And his little brother's cool with it because he's like, hey, I'm going to build you a better one and then we'll win the next one. And he's like, cool. Sure, we will. Later on, Sekai explains, yeah, I didn't hesitate because I was pretty much taught, don't lie in a battle. Give it your all. If they're going to win, make them win. Make them earn it. So a little lesson learned for Fumina and Yuma to earn their wins and make their opponents earn them. But we end the episode with Miyazato's new member. They're pretty much their fourth guy, taking out one of their members' Gundams and pretty much going, yeah, I transferred here from a private Gundam Academy, or the private Gunpla Academy, showing that, yeah, he's stupidly strong. Uh-oh. Which takes us to our last episode, Upon the Shield. We kick off with Minato dreaming about beating Yuma at that Builder's Cup and getting Fumina as a girlfriend. And yeah. Fuck this asshole. I hate him. But he wakes up to Tri-Fighter's success and he hates it because Yuma's not paying attention to him because his ego can't take it. But we cut back over to Misato, whose newest team member not only was a part of the private Gunpla Academy, but also was on the national winning team last year. So, yeah, he's stupidly good. And he subs in for their third guy that I don't remember the name of.
You're not alone.
Yeah. This little short guy who is just here. But we got our last member, and as we see in a fight, our final team makes it through this last round, making our final four, which is pretty much Ganko's team, Build Fighters, Miyazato's team, and then this fourth team that Build Fighters or Tri-Fighters is going to job the fuck out clean here in 5 minutes. Because we got better shit to do in this episode. But with the final four decided, the bracket is shuffled. So I guess we're not guaranteed at different matches. I don't know why they shuffled it to start with, because we never established fully what the bracket was. So it wasn't clear who was fighting who in this final four to begin with.
Yeah.
Before they shuffled the board.
Yeah, I feel like this wasn't needed. Because like you said, we didn't know going forward.
Yeah. I guess it's all here to facilitate this plot with Ganko. Or this side plot with Ganko.
Maybe? It still feels kind of odd.
Yeah. But at the little ceremony where they draw lots with a Gashapon machine, it's decided that Tri-Fighters will face the fourth team, which is Leviathan from the Suryu school. And Gyako's team is fighting G-Master, which is the Miyazato team. So Gyako and the team leader Pseudo pretty much size each other up, and the guy mentions Gyako's brother. He mentions how he wiped the floor with him. And Gyako's like, well, it's gonna happen again. And he's just like, sure. As we'll find out, no, it won't. But they've got a day to prep before the final four, or the final four matches. So Galco, in a bit of like, I need emotional support, latches on to Sekai, demanding emotional support from him. And the rest of Tri Fighters is just like, that's your problem, have fun. and leave him to deal with this. Which I'm very confused of why Fumita decides to leave him alone with her and is not upset by this.
I have to think that it's because she knows that he doesn't have the brain cell.
Yeah. She is sure that nothing will happen because she took the brain cell home with her.
Uh-huh. Which makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, Sekai takes her out to lunch, buys her a drink at some little restaurant to try to help her. But Gyako is just more or less trying to play Sekai at the entire time. Just be like, all I want is you to promise me that if we win, you'll go on a date with me. And he's just like, no, I already went on a date. No. Which immediately incites her because it's like, you went on a date already? And he's just like, yeah, with Fumita. She's like, God damn it. But yeah, Sekai's more or less befuddled by all of this because, again, Fumita took the brain cell home with her. He does not understand romance.
Nor will he ever. And
yeah.
And it's because it doesn't have anything to do with Punch.
Yeah. But at this point, Miyazato's female team member, Yumi, and their newest third member, Suga, drop by, and then they like trade words more or less. The girls argue. Sekai sticks up for Gyako because it's like, hey, she's good at fighting. You know what, Gyako? Meet me in the finals. That's all I want. You, me, finals, so we can punch it out. But Suga also warms him. It's just like, yeah, I know what know about your martial arts. It won't work on me. Which I question his martial art thing later, but we'll get to it. Anyway, Sekai leaves. He actually meets up with Fumita because Fumita, I guess, was just waiting on him because I guess even though she took the brain cell home with her, she's just like, just in case, I'm gonna make sure when he comes home that nothing happened. But I love how Sekai's like, look, she was just trying to get a date out of me and I don't like it. It's not how I do things. And I love how Fumita's just like, I know. I knew this would backfire. She doesn't understand that you have no brain cell. I do. But she just tells her, he tells Fumita, it's like, hey, I want to be Gyako in the finals. And she's like, I'll take that. So we go to the next day. Our first match is Tri-Fighters versus Leviathan. And they've got a giant green serpent Gundam that splits apart. And the team more or less demolishes it. They just tear it apart piece by piece until there's nothing left of it. So they win in very fast fashion. So we get to the main match of the episode, which is Gyanko's team versus G-Master. And oh no, Yuma knows off the bat that the main Gundam is Minato's handiwork. That's not good. But Sudoku, deciding to like really show off what he's got, fires a massive blast off the bat, and it obliterates one of Gyanko's teammates immediately. Like, literally disintegrates it. So, that's not good. So, while Gyako's fighting Yomi, Suga takes on the other teammate and uses the fancy martial arts skill of catching her arm and bringing it around her back. I don't think that's martial arts. But okay, sure. Also, Suga does this in a plane that has bird claws. I don't know why he's in a plane with bird claws, but he is.
Reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, he takes out her, leaving Yonko alone, and Sudoku more or less 1v1s her and demolishes both of her shields with his sword, and destroys Yonko immediately, which Sekai is a bit upset about because he wanted to punch Yonko. But now he can't punch Yonko. He has to settle with punching Sudoku. Because with this, G-Master wins the finals, which sets our stage. But we technically end the episode with Yuki's old support helper, Alan Adams, watching the match as his nephew drops by. Spoilers for who faces Tri-Fighters at the end of the series. I'm sure you can guess who's going to end up fighting Tri-Fighters now at the end of the series. But yeah, that's our back half of the episodes. How'd you feel about these two?
Definitely good setup for that next episode.
And just for reference, folks, most of the episode is the fight.
I kind of
if I recall.
much.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, most of the episode is gonna be this final match. So, buckle in, folks. It's gonna be a hoot. Because this is gonna be the first real test of Tri-Fighters. Because so far, they haven't really been tested on all accounts. This is their first real fight. But yeah, it's a nice couple episodes to just get us to where we need to go. I do like Shimon. I do like the Shimon episode, even with the vague kid is sick with non-specific thing. Because I like when Sekai gets the 1v1 people, because it shows off the really good stuff from Build Fighters, which was the 1v1 stuff. And it's nice to have that break up the team fights. So yeah, anything else? Tommy?
What?
I was asking if you had anything else.
No, I can't think of anything.
Alright, then next week will be that final match, and then more or less part of the second part of the series, where we kind of are going to intermission between the two tournaments and also work towards flipping the script on Tri-Fighters. Also, just gonna throw it out there. Episode 10. Remember when I said Mirai, like there's a reason Sekai didn't give Yuba the talk about going after his sister?
Yeah.
Episode 10. Just episode 10. If you need any proof of why Sekai is not worried about Mirai, episode 10. But yeah, that will be next week tomorrow. Tommy's doing more Halo 4. Which, I guess, getting the Master Chief Collection, I have now signed up for doing Spartan Ops with you at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey, I suggested, you said you'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
So that means that that's now added to that. Originally
Great,
it wasn't.
Granted, I keep doing a dumb thing when I do multiplayer stuff with the Master Chief Collection. So you know how you can toggle what games you want?
Yep.
I keep leaving them all on.
Whoops.
I keep transitioning between all the different Halos between matches. Because bear in mind, when you queue up, you're just queuing up for whatever you selected. Whatever the wheel spits out at you is whatever the wheel spits out at you. Although I have found out one bad thing about the Halo 3 stuff.
Okay.
So, zombies. Why did the zombies have shields?
Wait, they do?
Yes.
The regular zombies or the alphas?
Regulars.
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I played a Halo 3 match, or Halo 3 Infection match on, like, a Forge map on, like, the desert map. Not the one with the elephant, a different one. It was like this like multi-tiered house. You were fucked if you were a survivor because all the zombies had shields. If you did not one-shot the zombie at very specific range, the shotgun can one-shot someone, you're dead. Which kind of sucked. I did play a speedy zombies one that the zombies didn't have shields, and it was more fun. I think the problem is, with no shields, you are incredibly squishy, and you pretty much die to one headshot, or like one good shot. But with shields, you do have more than enough, like, health to pretty much tank your way to killing someone if they miss their shotgun shot. Because all they have to do is miss once. So yeah. Also, I've revocated almost every single one of my Spartans except my Halo 4 one. Because I don't think they have all the pieces for my Halo 4 one. I also don't remember all the pieces for my Reach one, so... And I think all that's actually locked, really, so I have to unlock all that. So yeah, that's tomorrow. Thursday, we continue Radiant on. Friday and Saturday is multiplayer something. Yeah. Let's bring us back around to more Build Fighters Try. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that Philly go. Add TGZone on Twitter. Gets you updates when we go live. And exclamation point Discord and chat. Get your Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.